All right, hello and welcome. So on this video, we're going to talk about Whirlwind. There's a video going around by Rob on Whirlwind showing some insane damage numbers, and people are kind of up in arms or really happy if you want to play Whirlwind that the damage is so high at endgame. We're talking billions and billions of damage. And that seemed really sketchy to me. It doesn't seem like what I have seen from the end game being on the Maxroll team. I've seen quite a bit of the end game, and that did not seem like it was doing what it was supposed to be doing, especially given the damage that was happening before it. So let me first start by talking about what looks like is the problem here. Gore's devastating grips causes an explosion. That's a percentage of the base damage to enemies when you stop spinning. And that's when the billions of damage was happening. When he stopped spinning and exploded, we'd see hundreds of millions and billions of damage at different times. This is bugged, like unquestionably to me. We'll say almost certainly, because there's a chance the tooltip is wrong here, because this Blizzard and that happens. This is almost certainly bugged. Let me preface this though. We're going to go into this in detail, and we're going to show you spreadsheets. I'm going to make it very clear to you what's happening. We're going to show you the video. I'm going to preface this. This is especially for Asmongold, but anyone else who's like already up in arms, I'm sure if Asmongold's watching this, he's like, oh no, they're going to try to kill my barbarian build again. This isn't going to kill your barbarian build. The Maxroll build that we have does not factor in the bug, and it is S tier and arguably the best build in the game. This bug is not required for the Whirlwind build to be an S tier build. It is, in fact, these gloves, we considered them to be optional in our build guide. They are not required for Whirlwind to be amazing. So this bug can get fixed and you're still perfectly fine. You don't need to worry. It's okay, Asmongold. The build's going to be great. You can keep playing it even if this gets fixed. Okay, let's go into the actual. We're going to take one. There's multiple clips we could have used on this to show what's happening, but this one's really obvious. And it's important because it's going to take out some potential issues, like he's not spinning to begin with, so he's not accumulating a bunch of damage going to this. One of the arguments was, well, they're just accumulating thousands and thousands of hits because he never stopped spinning, and somehow that's, which still wouldn't have made sense because he's exploding multiple times, like a lot of times throughout the dungeon. But we just wanted to take as many possible things that could be an excuse for why this is happening and not bugged. And so we're starting from a non-spinning state, so he has to accumulate all of the damage from this point and then do the explosion. So we're going to play at 0.25. You're going to see the stuff add up, and we've counted by hand every single hit that he does. So we have all of the damage, and I'll show you on the spreadsheet, and then we're going to go through that and show you exactly what I think is happening and what's causing that bug to hit. But you can see these are tens of thousands, low hundreds of thousands, and then right at the end here, you can see the big explosions happening. So we're good. We're just doing small damage. Explosion happens. Boom. 713 million damage. There's no way that this can possibly add up based upon what he's done so far. There's nothing in there that would show it. So let's look at the spreadsheet and see why that's the case. So this is all the damage that was applied over that period of time that we saw in the video. It totals 588,648 damage. Now, if we look at the gloves, this is 50 to 70% of the total base damage dealt to surrounding enemies. The base is really important here. That means it's not like the full amount of damage, or supposed to be the full amount of damage. It's supposed to be the base damage from his weapon, and then it applies 70% of that. And then I'm assuming they want it to multiply off of all of the damage modifiers he's got, all the increases, all the multipliers from there. So he'll end up with, if his fire and fizz damage were the same, about 70% of the total damage that he had done previously will then apply an explosion. If that was the case, he should do something around 412,053 damage. Of course, there's a lot of variables that go into that, but it shouldn't be 700 million. It should still be somewhere in the hundreds of thousands of damage. So this is not what we're seeing. So what we did, we said, okay, let's take the premise that's what actually is happening here is he is doing, or he, not he, but it is taking all of the damage, not just the base, but all of the damage that he's doing, and then multiplying that again off of all of his damage stats. So it's effectively double dipping on all of his stats. It's saying, all right, we're taking every multiplier that you did up to this point, which is all the damage you're seeing. So it's all of that 588,648. And then we're applying again any multiplier you have, vulnerability, crit, because he is critting in those. He does vuln on 2 of those 3, and basically everything, double dipping on every single stat. And so how we determined what those stats are is we took a combination of the stats that he shows, because he does show them on his screen, and also the build guide that he put up for us with all of his paragons and all of his skill points. And we said, okay, what is the absolute most that he could have possibly got out of all that effectively from everything he's got? So let's give him every multiplier we think he could have had at the most reasonable level. That's still like the highest level he could get without going too crazy about it. Let's give him every bit of that and see what the damage ends up at. And when we did that, we ended up with 2.1 billion damage. So let's assume that he doesn't have all of that, right? He's not going to have all the perfect stats. Some of his stuff's not going to be as good. And so this falls in line with what you'd kind of expect. He did 713 million on one of them. With everything perfect, we've got 2 billion. He's not going to be perfect. There's going to be some multipliers that are lower or even not there. 713 million seems like pretty much what you'd expect if this was double dipping on every possible multiplier and additive damage that he could get. So I think that's what's happening. I think there's a bug here that says, okay, we're actually taking not base damage, we're taking total damage, not total base, but total actual damage, and then we're going to multiply that again, and we're going to see like what that comes out with. This is not how from testing these other things work. So this seems to be very, very broken and very, very unusual. And that's why I'm pretty confident that there is a bug here. I don't think Rob did anything wrong. He probably doesn't even realize that there's a bug in here. So he's just showing you as he built it and what it was doing. So this isn't like a witch hunt against Rob. This is just, he built what he had, and he's like, this is great. But I think there's actually a pretty, once you put the numbers on, once you put it in, the bug becomes much more obvious, and this is what it looks like. And so hopefully Blizzard will fix this. But again, remember, Whirlwind will be fine if they do. This is not me trying to nerf it into the ground. It's an S tier build, even if they fix this. But this hopefully will alleviate the concerns of a lot of people who are like, oh my god, the end game is billions and billions of damage. It's not. There's probably a bug. Once they fix it, we should be good to go. All right, thank you so much for watching. I hope this is informative. I hope this helps ease the concerns of people who think that this is like just going to be what the end game's like. It's not this bad. Y'all enjoy your time in D4. We are so close as the recording this. We're like not even 5 hours away, like 4.5 hours away. I can't wait. I'll see you all again real soon.